Hello everyone, Julia Sheehan here, independent Stampin' Up demonstrator from Brisbane, Queensland, Australia. Today I'd like to do this little card with you. It's one that I saw Anne from Anne's Happy Stampers do, I think she did it a couple of years ago, and she got the idea from a lady in Germany. She says on her video that it was in German, so she wasn't sure, so she sort of made up her measurements to go. And I've just sort of followed that and then just put my own little bits on it and done a few extra things which I will show you at the end. And we're going to have a go at this one. It's a very cute little card, quick card. Doesn't take up much of anything. Just two pieces, one piece of cardstock, one piece of DSP, and just a few offcuts to do your sentiments with. So it's pretty economical and easy to do. And one of the main things with this one is just your measurements and things. But anyway, it stands up like that when it's done. And I've done it as a Mother's Day card. Mum's a star. And I'll just show you the stamp set. I got the sentiment for this one was Tea Together. And it's this sentiment over here that says, "Our love is one that covers years through life's joys and sometimes tears. A bond that stands the test of time, mother and daughter, hearts intertwined." And it has a Happy Mother's Day on it. And this is a beautiful stamp set. Okay, so that's what I've put on this one, and then just did the Happy Mother's Day as well. And then it just stands up, put a little bit of bling on it, and away you go. But the next one, I'm going to do the front a little bit more simply and put my sentiment on the back. So anyway, what you need is a piece of Blackberry Bliss 6 inches by 5 inches and a piece of DSP. This one's Nature's Poem DSP, which I absolutely love, and that's 5 3/4 inches by 4 3/4 inches. So the first thing you're going to need is your cutter. Normally I would score on my scoreboard, but most of the work I do will be on the cutter. Now this is on the 6-inch side. Put it in at 3 inches, which is halfway, and score it. Don't cut it. I have been known to do the wrong thing here. So just score it. Don't cut it. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to cut it now, but we're going to cut from the top center score line there out to the point of the card down here. So we're going to line it up in the groove on the cutter. Just takes a sec to twist that around to fit both pieces, like that. And then my cutting blade had it. It was not good, and then I found out that Stampin' Up's not going to have them anymore. Okay, so I panicked. Anyway, a really nice member of the team I belong to, her name's Julianne, she offered to sell me some, a set of hers, because she had just ordered them and managed to still get them. I should have cut that. See, talking? Cut that. And then do the same thing from the center top point out to the point again. And so I've got that coming in the post. In the meantime, I'm using an old one that I found in my drawer that sometimes jags the cardstock. So I have to be extremely careful with it. It's not making things too accurate, but I'll do my best. I'm going to start just on the cardstock so it doesn't jag up the point as well. Okay, so we've got those pieces. We hang on to all of those. Put your DSP in then, and that's the 5 3/4. So to cut it in half, 2 7/8 of an inch. We're going to cut that in half. And then we're going to cut diagonally, point to point. And I will start again inside my paper just so it doesn't tear. And then the other one I'm going to turn over because I'm using the back of it. I'm going to go from the outside point to here. and line that up. Okay, and again I'll start in the middle just to help the cutter. Okay, I'll pop that aside and we can bring these bits back in, and hopefully these will all fit on there nicely. That one goes on that one on that one, that one on there, and that one on there. And you can probably see on this one that's very rough edge, but for the purposes of this demonstration it'll be okay. Alright, so now we're going to glue those down. Just I absolutely hate putting glue on this side of this piece of paper. However, it was suggested that I try it with one plain side and one pattern, so I will do that. It's just against my better nature to cover up this beautiful TSP, but that's just me. So that one's on there. I have got a fair bit of ink on my hands. I've been trying all sorts of things today, so I apologise for that. There we are. And then this one goes on here. I thought this might be just a little bit too heavy with just the plain dark Blackberry Bliss on it. So we'll see. I have to do it again here. Oh, I hate doing this. This is my favourite sheet out of the whole set too. This one and the one in the mint macaron and the is it Cajun Craze it's done in? I think it is. They're both just beautiful pages. And then last one. I love this Blackberry Bliss cardstock. I think it's a beautiful colour, so rich. Whoops. Little mistake there. It's probably me talking that's done that. Oh, it's just a little bit crooked. Never mind. You'll get the idea. Okay, so now we've got that. What we're going to do is get this piece here. Got glue all over that and I need to use it in a second, so I'm just trying to dry it off. Okay, so we're going to fold this over. Fold it in half. Just be careful of your points. Get your bone folder and just burnish that down as best you can. Okay, now I don't always use my grid paper, but for this I do. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here and I'm going to put that right down at the beginning of this. And now our paper here in Australia is in centimetres. A lot of the cards that I do are in inches because a lot of the instructions of various cards are in inches and a lot of people follow inches better. When I was at school, we worked in inches, but then when I became a school teacher, it was all centimetres, so I can work in both. But this one is 5.1 centimetres, which is 2 inches. So you just need to mark that there on the long side of this triangle. And then what I do, just to make sure I get a nice straight line, is line it all up on my grid paper. And I'm just going to grab my ruler, which has a terrible tendency to go walkabout. And I'm just going to line that up on the grid square. Now the edge of my ruler is straight along a line here, so I know that's pretty straight, and I'm just going to mark 3/4 of an inch, which is right there. Now I'm going to cut from here to there. You don't have to do that mark, that's me. I just like to have a straight line to work with. Just one of my little quirks, I guess. And you just cut down to there, and then you're going to cut the smallest sliver off the side of that, just a tiny, tiny wedge in there, and that's it. So that's done. You've got your wedge cut here and here. Now, the next thing I've used my grid paper for is to overlap these two pieces here. So the bottom one goes that way, top one that way, and you want an even space between them. So what I did is I marked on here 1.5 centimeters. So for imperial measurements, that's pretty much for 5/8 of an inch, give or take, wouldn't matter. And so I've just put my points on there, so I get 1.5 centimeters roughly. And then I bring my point here down to the 8th line up, and this is just so I get a nice centered card. I'll move it along to the middle, so 1.5 centimeters still, and so you can see that pencil point. Hopefully I'll do it in pen there and there. And so I want the 2 points of my card to be on that line, and I want my 2 points down the bottom to be on the 20 and the 21.5 centimeters. Now I hope that makes sense to you. So it's just a matter of getting your angles right. So both of those are on the same line, and these are level. Okay, when you think you've got that pretty much right, you can lift that up, pop a bit of glue in there just to hold it. Now, I did move that slightly, so I'm just going to make sure that when I set it back down, I've got it back in place. 20, 20.5, both on the line. There we go. Press it down, and there you've got it. Now it's not difficult, it's just a matter of giving yourself a marker and knowing where you want your heights to be. So there we go. Now that sits in the wedge that you cut out. Oops. There and there, and it will sit like that. And actually I don't mind the darker one for contrast, it actually looks quite good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a simple sentiment for the front. And what I might do is I might do a thank you, because I mean that's another thing you can say to mum if you want to, or you could just use it as a thank you card or whatever you want. So I'm going to use my circle, what are they called? Layering circles framelits. And I've used the first, second, third circle to cut out a white disc. The fourth, 1, 2, 3, fourth, pretty sure it's the fourth, yeah, fourth scalloped one to make a circle, and the fifth to make the silver glimmer paper so that it will actually sit on it like that. So I'll join those two together. When you're gluing onto glimmer paper, just make sure that you hold it down for a little bit longer, just so that it gets into all the little cavities in that glimmer paper. Once it does, it's fine. But a lot of people will say, oh, it doesn't stick, it doesn't stick. It does. You've just got to give it time for the glue to get down and fill in those gaps, and then it's fine. Okay, so I'll leave that there for a second. And then what we do is stamp. I've put thank you on here already, so I might just use thank you. Where's my... Everything's gone missing today. Oh, my book's on top of it. Doesn't help, does it? And I'm just going to ink that up and put it on here. Oh, a bit clumsy. Pressed too hard, didn't I? Still pressing too hard. Too heavy-handed today. Probably got too much ink on it, it's the trouble. Ah, that's better. Some days you just stamp better than others, I think. Okay, so I'm just going to cut that out. I'll be right back. And there it is, cut out, and that's going to go onto there. And I think that looks really pretty. So we'll pop that on there. I actually said pretty. I don't normally call things pretty, but anyway. There we are. Pop that on there. And then I think a little bit of bling might be in order. Just a little bit of bling. Pop a rhinestone on there. And one maybe up the top as well. There. And then I'm going to attach it on the front of this here. So I'll just take that out. Now you can either set this up on dimensionals if you want to, or just glue it down. I'm just going to glue it down today, but it would look nice up on dimensionals as well. Bit of glue on there, and then line that up as best you can as well. And there we are. Pop that down. And there's that. For posting, you just have to lay that flat and pop it in an envelope that way, but I'm sure even if you send a few instructions, but I think somebody could work that out quite easily. And then there's your card. Now for the back of the card, if you want to, you can do what I've done, and I've actually stamped out that sentiment from Tea Together, and that would look nice just glued on there, and possibly another empty one on the other side. So you'd have one glued on and another one that's got the glimmer paper and a blank one of these, and that way then you could write a little sentiment, like a little message, or just to dear whoever, you know, love from, or whatever you want to do. So that's what I'm going to do for the back of the card. But for the moment, that's the finished card, and as it turns out, I actually do like it with the darker Blackberry Bliss on it. I thought it might be just a bit too heavy, but it looks nice. And then there's the one I did. This is the one I'll be sending my mum. And then I also did one with Happy Mother's Day on the front with the 2 different papers there. And I also made my own DSP because I was looking at it too as a birthday card or a thank you card. And so I did one with the Tropical Chic stamp set, and I did the green leaves for one sort of paper and then the hibiscus for the other. And I think that one turned out really well too. That makes it nice and bright and happy birthday-ish or whatever you might like it to be. So there's quite a variation there that you can do. But there's today's card. They're not meant to lie down, so that's why they're moving a little bit. But when you set them up, they look great. Anyway, thank you for watching today. I hope you enjoyed that. It's lovely that some people have managed to, try out these things and have let me know. It's always good to hear whether something worked for someone or not. So I hope that you find the tutorials easy and that you're enjoying them. Anyway, everyone, please subscribe if you haven't subscribed to my channel, and thumbs up, all the usual stuff. And thank you for watching. I really appreciate it because I really enjoy doing it. So it's nice to know that, people are watching. Have a wonderful week. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.